Good stuff. Thank you very much to everyone who has made the journey to be here. Big shout out to the furthest travel this evening from Swansea. Just pipped the people from Cardiff at the post there. But anyway, I just want to, on a serious note, guys, serious note, I'd just like to begin this hour reminding you of our urgent appeal. Yvette Cooper has been missing now for several weeks. Yvette, if you're out there, just let us know you're OK. If anyone's seen Yvette, please do get in touch. The public are very concerned. Not necessarily that concerned for her, actually. They're more concerned about this.
Therefore, we grant permission to appeal, both to Somani and to the Home Secretary, against the grant of the interim injunction.
So, should a judge who was reportedly a member of the Labour Party for 28 years, the treasurer for the Society of Labour Lawyers, the bloke who founded a left-wing legal chambers, have been allowed to rule on this high-profile case? I mean, during the hearing, the government used the ECHR against the own people. It was argued that the rights of illegal immigrants outweigh the rights of the British public. It was argued that serious allegations of sexual assault against a 14-year-old girl in school uniform are not adequate justification to close a migrant hotel. The perception is of a left-wing establishment stitch-up against the wills of the British people. Well, not all the British people, of course, because we do have to live amongst these very angry, shouty, far-left lunatics that, and hear me out on this, behave a lot like fascists.
Idiots! Go away!
Any thoughts on the... Any thoughts? Get a job. Get a job. Get a job. This is my job. Do some work. This is my job. What are you doing?
No, you did see that correctly. There was a man holding a Unite the Union flag there, telling someone else to get a job. So, there we go. It's interesting, that, because I walked past a Unite the Union strike today. But anyway, we have entered a very dark time. Is it really true that the British state and the legal system is putting the rights of illegal migrants before the rights of its own people? We're going to get the views of my panel. I'd like to hear from the audience on this as well, because let's be honest, you're the people that really matter. Who have we got on this? We got anyone with it? Yes, sir. Yes, good stuff. Go on, what would you like to say on this, my man?
Well, just over a year ago, we elected democratically a new government. And I naively always thought that governments were elected in order to implement the will of the people as per their manifestos. Now, we have a government that's directly acted against the will of its people, whose recourse was then to go to court. The government then had the contempt for those people to appeal against that court judgment. That not just shows contempt for the electorate, it shows really a kind of contempt for the idea of democracy itself, in my mind. And just one other point I'd like to make as well. Earlier today,
crack on.
Earlier today, I heard that the police had said that they would not provide any kind of police presence for the school run to allay the fears of the parents of children going to and from school, because an offence had not been committed and they wouldn't police it. But they seem to have unlimited resources to make people go home at 9:30. They're setting up a law. They're setting up that deadline for people then to break it, to then they could arrest them. They're creating the offence.
OK. Well, it's a series of interesting points. I think I'm inclined to agree with you. Just in terms of, to be clear, I think what you were referencing was I was covering the 3 till 6 p.m. show earlier today, and there was a lady, a local mum, who was on that show, who said that apparently the local school near that hotel, there's like one way in and one way out of it, and it's down quite a dark lane, apparently. And she had gone down a walk down there with the police officer and said, is there anything you can do here to police this? Bear in mind there's like 15 police officers pretty much at all times outside the hotel. The police officer apparently said to her, no. Then they said, well, why? And then they said, she said, well, there's been some people at this hotel looking at schoolgirls, and he's apparently said to her, well, looking at a schoolgirl isn't an offence. So that was what I think you were referring to. That I was on my show earlier today. Right, Christian, go on. How about this then? Really, what's your views in relation to what our gentleman said there? And is it true that the government's put the rights of asylum seekers over the rights of British people?
The government said as much in court. It argued that the rights afforded to illegal migrants by the ECHR are more important than the rights of local communities to not live among throngs of young men of fighting age who crossed illegally in small boats. The government also argued, incidentally, that the previous ruling to close the hotel would lead to chaos. And it begs the question, if this isn't chaos, what the hell is? I think we are getting to a really dangerous tipping point. And I do commend Labour people who are starting to get this. We've had a trickle of some fairly grandee names from the Blair government who are starting to say that we need to leave the ECHR. My concern is that Keir Starmer would never consider it because he is a lawyer and not a leader, and it is in every sinew of his being to put the rights of judges, whether they're in this country or international, above the rights of the British people.
I agree. I think Keir Starmer does have a chip for anything to do with the European Union, to do with closer ties with Europe, and he will not ever leave the ECHR. I totally agree with that. The gentleman in the audience made some fantastic points. I think, unfortunately, what was in the Labour manifesto was smash the gangs. That has nothing to do with stopping people coming here. It means they're going to do some sort of fluffy, sort of Interpol stuff that makes no difference. And today, Keir Starmer tweeted about, I'm still going for smash the gangs. It's rubbish, because the gangs don't exist because they only exist because of the need for them, for the migrants. That's fueling the demand. It's not the gangs are making migrants come here. He's got it the wrong way round, and I think the British people know he is not going to solve this, and that is why the protests are happening now.
Well,
and I think
smash the gangs, we wouldn't need the migrant hotels.
But somebody will always step in to escort people over the channel. There is money to be made. You smash one gang, another gang will come. It is the wrong way round. He's focused on the wrong stuff. He needs deterrent.
All right, just before we carry on, if someone else, preferably someone who's not been before, we've got a lot of new faces in tonight. If you would like to make a point on this, just stick your hand up and we can try and get the microphone to you. So it's over to you. But Barry, this fundamental question then. In fact, no, let me change that. Sorry, Barry. Should a judge who was reportedly a member of the Labour Party for 28 years, treasurer of the Society for Labour Lawyers, founder of the Matrix Chambers, which obviously was Lord Hermer as well, his former chambers, should he have been anywhere near this case?
Look, judges in this country try things on the basis of law. We've had Tory judges for years, we've had, Labour judges for years, but actually they have to stand on the basis of the law. Now, you talked about pitting the rights of migrants against the rights of the people of this country, the rights of people in Epping, right? Nobody in Epping, and let's be clear about this, they have huge concerns, right? But nobody in Epping is having their rights violated. They have the right to protest and they're doing it, right? There are no rights being violated for the people in Epping.
Their right to protest tonight is ending at 9:30. Their right to walk home safely is not taking place because they're worried.
No, sorry. One of the refugees has been charged with sexual assault.
A fairly significant breach of rights for locals in Epping.
Yes. We won't discuss it because it's sub judice, as you know, but I will say that you should never condemn a whole group of people because of the actions of one of them. People who come here have to live by our laws. That's absolutely right. What is not right is to say that because some migrants commit crimes, all migrants are criminals.
But it's not,
they're not, and responsible politicians have to make that clear.
Every single person who has come across the channel on a small boat has already committed a crime. They came here illegally.
Okay, two points. 50% of the refugees in this country did not come across the channel in a small boat. So actually more than 50%. Those who did are not criminalised in international law. It is only the previous government that said that the mode of transport made you a criminal.
We made it illegal, and Labour have made it legal again. So Labour have scrapped that. It is now not an offence.
Okay, I don't know. Anyway, I don't care where the people come from, right? I don't care almost if they're migrants or not. I don't know anyone that would want to walk home next to a place housing a load of undocumented men.
Yeah, fine.
Sorry.
So, Christo, what are you going to do? The consequence, and this audience said it earlier on this evening, the consequence is that you say, right, kick them out of the hotel. Where are they then going to go? They're going to go to an hotel. Right, you said that they're going to go back home. Reform tried that this week. 600,000 we're going to send back. And so, who are you going to pay? They were going to pay the Taliban to send women and children back to Afghanistan.
Sometimes, Barry, we have to have conversations with different regimes that we don't like.
And Germany are
exactly that. Secondly,
and who are you going to negotiate with in Iran?
Well, I mean, we could get to that. I'm sorry. Well, you have to have conversations with regimes.
So you want to close down the hotel first and have the conversation with the Ayatollahs later?
I want to stop the pull factors from people coming here in the first place.
For what it's worth, the Labour government promised to proscribe the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. The reason it hasn't done so is because actually it's found that having diplomatic relations with the Iranian regime is actually quite useful for our national security. It's the reason we still have an embassy open in Tehran. So Barry's now claiming we can't touch the Iranians. The government seems to think differently.
We're still trading with Iran as well.
Sorry, right, we are an audience show. Everyone's very lively tonight. I believe there is a gentleman who would like to make a point.
Yeah. Hi.
Yes. Hello.
I just say if I ask a question, I would just do this. So hi, Mum. Sorry, I had to do it. Barry, you talk about not tarnishing everyone with the same brush, and I'd agree with you. But it feels like that doesn't apply in the same case where you think of Keir Starmer's comments last year after the protest, painting everyone as a far-right thug. It seems to be, you can't pick and choose the logic, essentially.
Oh, he's got you there, Barry. Yeah. He's got you there, Barry.
Well, first of all, can I say hello, Mum? Okay.
For the first time, hopefully. Everyone else is allowed to say something like that. Come on. Christo, of all people, you can wind it up. There's a queue of Premier League footballers outside for you, mate, right?
If only.
The point is this. You should not be vilifying a whole group of people on the basis of what one or two of them do.
Well, that's exactly what Keir Starmer did with the riots. That's exactly what he did.
I'm sorry.
That we can't we need to be careful with the words we're using. So we can't be conflating every single person that comes over the channel as an asylum seeker. We need to be clear. And this is, again, I think the reason why it's such a worrying thing, because, the asylum system is broken. We want to be looking after the people that are genuine asylum seekers. We want to be stopping the people that are coming over for purely economic reasons, so stop exploiting the broken system. That's why we need to be careful how we describe them.
Sorry, can I don't want to keep putting you on the spot, but the reason why I think that's an interesting point is because usually that argument is used the other way around, isn't it? We need to be really careful with our words, we don't want to... But actually, what you seem to be suggesting is that we just shouldn't be referring to all of these people as asylum seekers, because some of them are not. We should be careful.
I think it's a tactic, isn't it, to control the narrative, to take away the nuance of all of this, and I think we need to be putting that we need to put that back into the conversation.
And that's why we do need to actually look again at the 1951 Convention, right? And we need to then be able to distinguish between those people who are economic migrants, who don't have a right to be here, and those people who are asylum seekers, who you rightly said we ought to be protecting.
But it's still too many people, Barry.
But the first step in doing that was what the government actually managed to do with France in terms of the 50
it's funny you should mention that, Barry. It's funny you should mention that because there were two parts to that French deal. One was that they were going to turn the boats back, and now they don't want to do it because it's a bit cold. And the second part of it was returning people to France, and the deadline for that passed yesterday, and we've not had any.
And the French government has collapsed, which doesn't help. Which doesn't help anything, does it?
Other than that, it's going perfectly well.
Yeah.
It's really working out.
All right. Well, guys. I'll tell you what. There's something in the water tonight. I mean, I love it, but anyway.